originally, the initial value I got from Food Dog right off the beginning is the thought of, if you're going to 10x your business, you got to 20x yourself. If I had this level of support 10 years ago, man, I feel like I could conquer anything in the world. You know, I could probably be president of the United States if I wanted to. But yeah, it's incredible. The real value is that it shrinks the time, right? You don't have to go through the trial and error of learning these things. Is that when you're there with people who've been there and have done that and been through the process, not only professionally in your business, but also personally in your life, struggled with things in life, that's the fast path, is going there, seeing how they think, and that pulls you through and gets you out of the rut that you're in faster. It gets you to wealth faster. It gets you to health faster. That's the real value.
When I was 26, I moved from New York to California. On that plane ride, I read Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. The book absolutely changed my life. So since that time, I've seen Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar when he was alive, Jack Canfield, Colonel McChrystal, the list goes on and on. One of the things, and I say this with great pride about Food Dog Group, dude, these guys are at a completely different level, 100%. They work from a different perspective. So the vantage point that they're coming from, and I'm not taking anything away from those speakers that I mentioned because they were fantastic, just this comes at it on a different approach and gets a different result. So again, I would encourage you to seek out the Food Dog Group for their personal development and personal up-leveling mastery.
The impact, I think, especially going through this event with my dad, kind of comes full circle because this is happening at a time where I'm about to have my first child. So us coming at it together, those blessings that I will bring home, I can bring on to him. And then eventually down the road, maybe we will do the same. So it's already a cycle of just personal power that we've created.
Food Dog Group is like the family that you never had. You know, most of us have family that we're born into, right? And when you get to choose your family, that's what Food Dog is like. It's people who are hungry to grow themselves, who are wired to give and serve others, and to show up and be fully present for themselves and each other. And so if you want to run with a pack of leaders that are doing great things, that's a place for you. If you like to have fun and experience new things, That's what Food Dog Group is like. If you want to feel the support, compassion, and empathy from others who are on a similar journey and share maybe life experiences where you get stuck, that's for you. And if you want to get results and you're looking for process, that is what Food Dog Group is about.
I mean, I would tell them to, to come to the training and try it out. And, you don't know what you don't know until you see it, and then you know you need it, right? And if they answer any question that anybody asks them, and how's their personal life, how's their relationship with their wife, how's their business, and they say, oh, it's good. If you don't say anything other than it's absolutely freaking amazing, then you've got a problem. You've got a problem somewhere in your personal life, somewhere in your business, and Mike's the guy that'll help you figure out what that is and then move you forward.
The book is called Business Wealth Without Risk. Probably the more critical subtitle is really the denominator of it: how to create the income and wealth of a lifetime every 3 to 5 years. That's really the key. And it's got two different paths depending on where you are in your career or your life or your business journey. But the first premise is, why in the world would you start a business from scratch when today, maybe not when you all started, but today it has a 1 in 20 first year success, a 1 in 10 5-year success, and it's a lot of risk, You got to put a lot of capital in, you might strain your marriage, all kinds of things. When in fact, you can find millions of businesses today, because a lot of baby boomers like me are just worn out, tired, they're retiring, dying, whatever it is. And you can find all these millions of businesses that have broken through that barrier, but they're grotesquely underperforming their capacity potential. You can acquire them with any of 200 different methods my colleague has. Only a few are getting the owner to carry. There's all kinds of incentive ways to get other people highly motivated to finance an acquisition for you.
The big difference right now for me is that being able to do this together.
Yeah.
It's one of the first things that we've done together. I've always gone and traveled on my own to do this, and then we always bring it back and we process together.
Correct.
But doing this together is, to me,
I think it's been better to actually be able to physically do it together. Because yes, she would do a lot of the traveling. You know, she's done Tony Robbins and stuff like that, and she'd bring it back, and we'd discuss it. Or that night she'd call and we discuss it. And there's great things that I can learn secondhand from it, and that she's learned firsthand. But being able to actually do it together, there's just so much more growth that is possible because I'm experiencing it with her, but I'm also getting my own perspective to bring to it that then we can discuss.
I would say just even in the last couple months, our relationship has gotten so much closer.
It's shifted a lot.
I know.
It's allowed me to grow from, thinking I can only do this to being able to do whatever I want. I just have to shift my identity. I have to figure out, or I find out the next one and I make it happen. And I know what my next one is. To, like I said, step into a role to help her to take on more, rather than just being, a worker doing my own thing.
The whole worker identity versus other identities.
Yeah, like an advisor or, being part of this business. I've been in manufacturing for so long. Medical's different, mindset work is different. I can do more than what I've thought I could do before.
You sure as fuck can do more than you ever thought before.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. I see connections that are really important. I also see me asking more people for help and receiving it. I've always been a lone wolf and feeling really alone with that. And I'm dropping my lone wolf finally. Whew.
That's good.
I know, it's great. But that's what I see moving forward is being part of a pack instead of being a lone wolf. That's been really rough. So I'm excited about that.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington, one of the original sharks from the hit television show Shark Tank. Have you had to make the choice between a fulfilling personal life or a successful professional career? This often results in either not achieving important financial goals or building up wealth at the expense of a rewarding family. Although it may seem implausible, people can achieve success in both their personal and business lives. Are you ready to meet someone who could have the answers for you? Meet Mike Agliaro. He's an author, speaker, investor, and thought leader who has experienced several business exits that have been successful at the same time that his personal life has flourished. Mike is now sharing his formula for a full life through his company, the Food Dog Group. They have cracked the code, allowing people to grow and expand their entire lives to achieve the impact that they want while building the wealth that they desire. This can all be achieved while experiencing fulfilling relationships and family lives. You need to learn about Food Dog Group's unique processes, which combine ancient wisdom and modern strategies to elevate every area of life. Go to fooddog.com to discover how Mike and his company can work with you right now. Thank you for listening.
When we break the tipping point, when we go over the edge where it's 3 million every month and 3 million's a walk in the park, guess who the game changes for?
All of us.
Everybody in the room. I am with my beautiful goddess of a wife for over 33 years.
Mike is now sharing his formula for a full life, allowing people to grow and expand their entire lives to achieve the impact that they want while building the wealth that they desire.
So if you are a business owner, if you run a mastermind group, you want to be involved with Mike. Take it from me, somebody who's worked with him on multiple levels. Mike is the real deal.
If there's one person in my list of who to surround yourself with, it's Mike Aguilera.
And now, please welcome Mike Aguilera.
Boom! Hey everyone, it is not Mike Aguilera. It is someone who thinks he's a little bit handsomer than Mike. Don't tell Mike if he's on here. My name is Aaron Hughes, everyone, and I am the co-founder of Food Dog Group, along with Mike and Jennifer. If you know me, put my name in the chat bar. Let me know that you're here and you know who I am. I've got a lot of catching up to do on chat here. There's some names there. Awesome. Yes. If you've been private messaging me, I missed those things. So maybe text me if it's really urgent. Okay, everyone, I just want you to know that, I know the introduction said, welcome, Mike, and I let it run because I love the introduction, but here's the deal. So Mike and I and Jennifer, we built Wealth Remedy. And we were so excited to deliver it, and we've been getting ready for it for a while, and we were making tweaks all week on it. We've been making plans. And does life sometimes throw a curveball? Yes or yes? The answer, of course, is yes. Life sometimes throws a curveball. And Mike had an emergency that he had to deal with. Like 5 minutes before we're supposed to jump on, he's like, Aaron, guess what? I'm giving you a gift. You are the guy who's going to run Wealth Remedy. Am I ready for it? Absolutely, I'm ready for it. So I am super excited that you are here, and I am scrolling through. If you have not put in where you're from, would you do me a favor and put in where you're from? That's right, the awesome Aaron. Thank you for that, Nikki. We got people from Orlando, from Virginia, from California, lots from Jersey, New Jersey, NVA, North California, Utah, Minnesota. Oh, we got some people from Australia. I love it. New Zealand. Perfect. You can probably hear from my accent. I am way up in Canada. I'm in Saskatchewan, which is the square province just north of North Dakota, right in the middle. I live in a decent sized city, but as soon as you leave the city limits, it is flat. Like the joke is you can see your dog running away for 3 days. It is as flat as it gets out here. But I love dialing in. This is what I love about Zoom, is that I can be a business owner with Mike and Jennifer. Our business, Food Dog Group, is located in New Jersey, but I am way up here in the tundra, as some people call it. It's nice out now, but it does get a little bit chilly in the winter. So thank you, everyone, for joining, and I hope you're not too disappointed that Mike's better-looking business partner is going to work through Wealth Remedy with you. Mike said to me as he was handing me Wealth Remedy, he says, Aaron, the show must go on. The show must go on. And so, yeah, we believe that. And he and I and Jennifer have worked on Wealth Remedy, so it's not like I'm reading the slides at the same time you are. And I think it's great because you're getting a totally different perspective than Mike would bring to this same topic. I'd love to know if you have been in the food dog world for a long time or not. So sometimes Mike will say, how long have you known him for? But I'd love to know, how long have you been in the food dog world for? how long has it been? 1 year since March 2023. A long time. 2 years, 2 years, 6 years. First encounter. Okay, well, welcome. I think it was Rosanna. It was going fast. Ray, first training, 1 year, 2 years. Awesome. All right. Well, I've known Mike for 9.5 years. 9.5 years. And I'm actually going to tell you a little bit about my story in a few minutes, just because you don't know me, many of you don't know me, and I feel like I'm going to earn the right to share this insight with you. And hopefully by the end of my story, you will agree that I might have a thing or two to share about Wealth Remedy. Do me a favor, if you don't have your screens on, we are a community here. We are a tribe. We love connecting with each other. So please turn your screens on, and we may have team members who are reminding you to do that as we go through the session today. And I am joined here by an amazing team. So you can see Jennifer, our wonderful co-founder, Mike's wife. She's been with him for 37 years, I think. 30-ish, 7 years.
Close, 38.
38. Okay, I was really close. All right.
Very close.
So Mike and Jennifer have been together for 38 years, and the three of us co-own Food Dog Group, and so it is our honor to have you here. I also have team members. We have Tara. Tara's there. She's waving at you right now. We've got Morgan over there. Wave at us, Morgan. Thank you. And I know Michael's on here. Oh, there he is. Hey, Michael. Didn't I co-host you? Are you co-hosted? I think you are. Okay, good. Awesome. So that's the team. So you guys might be chatting with some of them if you have any questions or anything, and you'll see them interacting in the chat. And if this is your first time here, I hope you will see that we are an active community, which means we would love to see your thoughts in the chat bar, your insights in the chat bar, your reactions in the chat bar. So just chat in the chat bar. We love to see that. All right. And then one last thing, just before we get started, I'm going to share my screen. And Mike said, oh, let me just make sure I shut down the right thing here. Okay, there we go. Oh man, I almost made a big error, and then I would never be allowed to host another masterclass again in my life. Okay, let's press the correct button. Here we go. Mike said that I could have the privilege of sharing Wealth Remedy with you as long as I did one thing, and that is to tell you about Change the Channel that we have coming up. Change the Channel. Change the Channel is an event, a 3-day event that we have coming up January 26th, 27th, and 28th. And it is 3 full days. It's online. We've run it online a couple times. We ran it in person in New Jersey. And actually, if anyone here was at Change the Channel in New Jersey, can you put CTC in the chat bar if you were there? And oh yeah, there we go. I'm going to move my chat out of the way so I can see. And actually, I want to see your smiling faces too. So let me pull up your faces, because otherwise I get lonely here. I think I'm talking to myself. So, okay. CTC sexy, Robin says. Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. So change the channel. That threw me off, Robin. Okay, change the channel. It's coming up January 26th, 27th, 28th, 3 full days. It is online this time, not in person. And you can learn more about it at fooddoggroup.com/change the channel. You head over there. You can get tickets at different levels, whatever levels you want. Here's the amazing thing. Oh man, I'm so excited about this. Let me get out my drawing pen here. We have, of course, the 3 co-founders are speaking. There we are there. We have the one and only Michael Agliero, the second, who is a mindset coach at Food Dog Group, and he will be there speaking. And I'm excited about the insights that he's going to share. And I always get to share the stage with Michael, and it is always an honor. So we're going to hear the Food Dog team speak, but this is great. We have locked up some great lineup of speakers for Change the Channel, including we have Kevin Harrington, who is the original shark from Shark Tank. So if you've ever seen the series Shark Tank, then we have Kevin Harrington. He's going to be speaking. Kevin is a longtime fan and friend and collaborator with Food Dog Group. We've done some deals together. We have he has taught on stage and in Zoom to our membership. He's got a lot of great insights to say. And then over here, you'll see on this picture, it might be a small picture because of the size of my screen, but we have Jay Abraham, who is the highest paid marketing consultant on earth. So who here is a fan of Kevin and Jay? Throw that in the chat bar because we are so excited for the insight they are going to share at Change the Channel. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of yeses and some booms. That's what I love. All right, now here's the cool thing, not pictured in this because as this was being rushed to print, as they say, we got another speaker for our amazing event. So he's not in here, but we have Mike Michalowicz, the one and only Profit First Mike Michalowicz coming to speak at Change the Channel. I'm really excited about that. Every time that I hear Kevin or Jay or Mike Michalowicz speak, there is always a ton of insight that they bring. Yeah, they are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm seeing a ton of fan love for these guys in the chat. So Change the Channel. It's happening January 26th, 27th, 28th. And there's the link, fooddoggroup.com/change the channel. If you want it, team, throw that in the chat bar. We are going to dig into Wealth Remedy. Oh, and I almost forgot, but it's sitting right here in front of my face. We did promise this, that just last week, Mike did a one-on-one interview with Jay Abraham, like a 45-minute interview. And we have that on a link. And if you guys stay to the very end, at the end of this session, we are going to share that link with you. So our members get it automatically as part of the membership. But those of you who aren't Food Dog Group members, you're signing on for the first time, or you're just kind of learning about who we are, we will share the link with you at the end of this masterclass. All right. So let's dig in. All right, we're going to talk about wealth mastery. So here's what I would love. If you could put, if you're ready to hear about wealth mastery, put a $sign, put a money emoji, put the emoji with the guy's tongue hanging out that has money in it. And when I see enough of those, we are going to get started. I'm also going to see if I can get more faces showing here because I'm kind of talking to myself here and it's getting lonely, but I don't know where those faces are. Okay, I am seeing some $signs, so let's dig in. Wealth Remedy. Oh, and there's Mike, because up until just a few minutes ago, we thought it would be presented by him, but it is in fact presented by me. And so I'm going to just put in a little smiley face and some glasses because that is more like me. There we go. Presented by Aaron. Let's get on to here. Insert money emoji here. Nice work, Brandon. That's great. Just a quick disclaimer. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We just want you to know that this is not a business training. We also want you to know that this is not like legal or financial advice. If you want to talk to a financial advisor, a financial rep, talk to someone who has a license, talk to a lawyer, talk to whatever, your accountant. We are not giving financial advice, but we are giving our insight about how to think differently about money. And here's the thing. Here's what I've noticed. Actually, I'm going to unshare my screen for a second because here is what I've discovered. And in fact, I just heard this from someone the other day, that this may not be the training you think you are going to get, but it's going to be the training that you need. And I'm saying that with a lot of confidence, having I built the training. Mike and Jennifer and I built this training. And we know that you might be thinking, oh, Wealth Remedy, I'm going to learn how to invest in something. I'm going to learn if I should buy this business or invest in that business. This is not going to be the training that you think that you want. It's going to be the training that you need. And I'm really excited about what we're going to share here. All right, I'm going to get back into that. So there is the disclaimers. We're also additionally, in the disclaimers, we're not responsible for your actions and the actions you take. Of course, you're going to take actions. We hope that you do. We are all about action taking here at Food Dog. Okay, why do we call this session, this training, Wealth Remedy? Wealth Remedy. It's because we all have stories that we tell ourselves about wealth. Is that true? Do you have a story that you tell yourself about money, about wealth? Yeah, I see that's true from one person. Looks like one of our team members say that's true. That's certainly true for me too. I had many stories, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a few minutes. But yes, I bring stories. And when I was a kid, I had these stories about money, and maybe some of these seem familiar to you as well. Let me highlight some of them for you. Maybe you've heard yourself or someone else say, "Oh, money seems scarce." Right? Does anyone anyone ever said that, or anyone ever said that to you? Put yes in the chat bar if money seems scarce, if you felt it or heard it from someone else. Or here's one I definitely heard from my family. Oops, we think we have to work hard for money. Have you said that? Has a family member or friend said that they have to work hard for money? Yes, for sure. That is absolutely my family heritage. Is you were paid based on the amount of hours that you grind out every single day. All right, we think we have to give up our time to generate money, which is just what I was referencing. Family members, friends who would work hard, like long grinding hours just to make money. Or this one here, perhaps you've heard it. I've heard it a lot. There's more to life than money. Has anybody said that to you? Put yes in the chat bar if you have heard there's more to life than money. And I'm going to put in yes 1,000 times into that chat bar because I've heard that over and over. Here's the thing though, the people who say there's more to life than money, like how are they paying their bills? How are they putting a roof over their head, paying for their car, paying for their insurance? Money may not be everything in life, but it's second to oxygen because yeah, if you don't have money, then your life looks very, very different. So maybe there's more to life than money, but not much more, in my opinion. You can't live without money. Here's another one that I heard. Hit yes in the chat bar if you've heard this. The rich keep getting richer while many others struggle. Maybe you've heard that. Maybe you felt it. Here's the deal. When I was young, I heard that from family. We knew some wealthy people who were not very nice, and it felt like they were the lucky ones. They kept getting money raining down on them while we struggled. And then here's another story. It always feels like we could use just a little bit more than we have. Yeah, Vicky says money changes people. Yeah, that's another thing I've heard a lot. So maybe you've heard it, or maybe you feel like you could always use just a little bit more than we have. Like you're looking at, you got 10 bills on the table, you know you can only pay 9. So who doesn't get paid this month? So these are some of the stories that we tell or we hear. And what happens is these stories become part of us. They become part of our identity. They become part of the way we think and feel about money. And it ends up poisoning our brain about money. And when we talk about wealth at Food Dog Group, people are like, "Oh, wealth! Come on, take it easy. Why do you want to be wealthy? Because there's more to life than money, or only rich people. Rich people are jerks. You don't want to be wealthy." Our minds are poisoned by the stories we tell, by the experiences we have, and so Wealth Remedy, we call it that because we are here to remedy your thoughts and stories and mind and beliefs and values about wealth. Does that sound good? Does that sound like something? Yes. Kenny says, I am a millionaire. I love it. I love it. All right. If you are ready for some wealth remedy, let's keep digging in here. Well, again, this is why should I be teaching you about money? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mike, and then I'm going to pause partway through and tell you a bit about me. I'll tell you about Mike because we had already made these slides and they look amazing and I want to show them off. But I also want to share just about this. Mike's story is also really the Food Dog story. So we want to tell you a little bit about that. So Mike is just on the personal side. If you don't know him, he's been a martial artist most of his life. He's a tattoo artist, and I could go on, but let me flip over. He was also an electrician. That's where he got his career start. And so here he is. I believe he was like 19 or 20 here. He's got a pretty sassy looking mustache. I still think I'm the better looking business partner, but he looks pretty good there. And here he is wiring in something. I love the mustache. I know, me too, actually. I'm kind of jealous. I think it looks good. And he was learning at an early age that you got to grind out to do the job. He grew up in a family of Masons, and he learned like hard work equals getting paid. Like many of us, he found that life isn't always easy. Here he is in school. Here he is with some family. Has got like a glorious head of hair there. And here he is with his amazing wife, Jennifer, who you have already seen on Zoom. And then here's the story. I think we can all relate to this. As they got married, as they started to have a family, they were still trying to figure it out. They were making some money. They were figuring out how to make ends meet, and life became more complicated when they got married or as they started having children. Tell me, does life get more complicated? Does it get more complicated? I hope I'm not the only one. I'm going to wait for someone to just assure me that I'm not the only one who thinks, yeah, just different. Yeah, oh, just you. Okay, thanks. Yeah, life gets a little more complicated. On your own, life is complicated enough. Once you add in like a relationship and then add in kids, things get more complicated. And as things get more complicated, those stories we tell ourselves about money become more complex. So how did life go? Mike decided and discovered that he could create his own change. Here are Mike and his kids in the dojo. Mike shared his own lifelong love of martial arts with his kids. They grew up to be ass kickers. Michael and I, we get to train from time to time, not nearly enough, but we get to train from time to time, and it is always an amazing experience. I was just in New Jersey a couple weeks ago. We trained on like one of those kind of wooden martial arts things, and I ended up with this huge bruise in my hand, and I was hobbling around for a few days because Michael is certainly relentless in his training. And then here is Mike and Jennifer. I love these pictures of these two because they exemplify creating a life by design. And if you take nothing else away from this masterclass, write down the words, create a life by design. In fact, please put that in the chat bar. Create a life by design. There is nothing better in life than living the life that you want. Create a life by design. And that is what Mike and Jennifer do. They have an amazing house down by the Jersey Shore. When I go to visit them, like a couple blocks one way is the bay and a couple blocks the other way is the ocean. And every single day after meals, they go out, they take like a little walk around, and there is so much power and beauty in the ocean. And I think Jennifer pretty much camps out at the ocean all the time. Yes, it is her sacred space. She loves the ocean. Jennifer, you'll never want to come and visit me up here in Saskatchewan because we have oceans of wheat, but no actual water. All right, along the way, so you saw Mike as the young guy, as an electrician with his mustache, wiring and something, but over time, he started to discover that he could change himself, he could change his wealth. And so Mike, he discovered the remedy, the wealth remedy, and he built and sold 2 empires. So one of those empires is here, Gold Medal Service. It was one of the largest HVAC plumbing electrical companies in New Jersey, and they had 200 employees, 165 trucks, double-digit profit. They were a huge company. He exited that in 2017. How many people here know Gold Medal? If you know Gold Medal, put GM or Gold Medal in the chat. Yeah. And I started to connect with Mike just as in the last little bit of his time at Gold Medal and at the beginning of his time with this company that became known as CEO Warrior. And here, Mike built the highest level training and implementation organization for HVAC plumbing electrical. They changed the industry. They had thousands of clients that they impacted and created dozens of millionaires. Mike built that. He started it back in like 2014, 2015. It became CEO Warrior in, I think, about 2017. And then in 2020, he exited that company. So yeah, if you know Mike from CEO Warrior days, put in CEO Warrior or CEO in the chat bar. Yes. Okay, we've got a few people here who know Mike from those. Okay, and I'll start to weave in my story here in a minute. I'll wrap up this last little bit about Mike. Along the way, Mike built a real estate portfolio, which is where some of his wealth remedy came from, is his real estate portfolio. His portfolio currently worth 10 million in real estate, and it includes a couple of commercial buildings, and here they are right here. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because I've talked a lot about Mike, and you're like, okay, Aaron, but who are you and why are you talking to us? For those of you who had just joined, Mike wasn't able to be here. He had an emergency to deal with, but the great news is that me and Mike and Jennifer, we build these master classes all together, so I know exactly what's in them, and I'm building them from my own perspective. I'm sharing it from my own perspective. So Mike asked me to step in. I am here, and I don't have any slides to talk about me, so I'm just going to share with you. You're gonna have to look at my face while I talk about me. So who am I, and why am I talking about wealth remedy? So I grew up like maybe some of you, but maybe like many of you, I grew up in a family of scarcity. My parents, they worked very hard. They are hardworking people. My dad worked early mornings to late at night in the trades, usually in construction and that type of thing, in carpentry. But the truth is, we did not have a lot of money. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. But sometimes it got pretty scarce. And a couple of examples just to show you what my background was like. There was times when we didn't have enough money to buy milk for our breakfast cereal. So we would have just no milk on our breakfast cereal, or we'd have soup instead, because that's the kind of amount of scarcity that we have. And I'm not saying that because I want pity or anything. I'm just saying there are different levels of abundance and scarcity, and that's where I was. Another interesting story about my background, just to give another picture of the kind of background I had, is I came from a family of many cousins and aunts and uncles, and I found out later as an adult that some of my aunts and uncles would point to my family, would point to me and my sister and my family, and they would threaten their kids and say, if you misbehave, you're gonna have a Christmas like Aaron and his sister. We got like one gift under the tree, and my cousins were threatened if they misbehaved, they'd get a Christmas like mine. So again, I had an amazing childhood. I have no regrets. It was the perfect childhood for me, and it's all good. But I want to give you a picture to say that that's where I came from. And as a result of that, I had a lot of those scarcity stories. I'm going to share some of them a little bit. That I when I was a kid and I would get money like from my allowance, I would hoard it. I would hang on to it like a dragon, like on with this gold or whatever, because I didn't want to spend it. And so I would go to the toy store and I would look at all the toys, but I didn't want to spend my money because I didn't know if I would be getting any more anytime soon. And I'm seeing some messages in the chat here that other people had a similar childhood. And yeah, absolutely. Be grateful even for the scarcity, because it made you who you are. That's exactly how I feel. It was the perfect situation for me. Sure, there were times when I was a kid that I wished I had enough money to maybe go on the school trip or to buy the toy that I wanted. But looking back now, those are nothing compared to how it formed me into the person that I am. And there's another lesson for you. Your childhood, your beliefs, your background, your stories, they formed you into who you are. So we're not here to say the way you felt, the way you were raised is wrong, but rather to say, hey, guess what? You don't have to be stuck in that way if you want to feel something different. So that's my background. Now, where did I go from there? Well, I didn't want to live a life of scarcity. I didn't want to be afraid. I had so much fear about money, about what my future would be like, whether I'd be stuck in like a low paying, long hours job like my parents. So I was really, truly scared about the future. And I didn't want to be that way. And so I went out on a journey to discover how to solve my financial situation and change my financial future. So I went on to get my stockbroker's license, my investment rep license. I don't know what you guys call it in the US. It's a different name, but it's the same thing. Like I could trade stocks, bonds, funds, CDs, I think you guys call them. We call them something different here in Canada. I could trade like options and so on. So I went on to become an investment rep. I worked for some large investment companies, worked for a large insurance company, a mortgage broker, a automotive financial or automotive leasing company. I went on to Series 7 in the US. Thank you. Yeah, we have a different name for it, but it's the same thing. I was basically an investment rep. I could advise people on how to trade. It's lapsed now, so don't ask me for advice. And I have different thoughts anyway about investing in stocks versus other things. So anyway, I went on. So yeah, I got my Series 7, the Wolf of Canada. I love it. I'm absolutely going with that name. I got my MBA in business strategy. I ended up working for, I don't know if anybody here knows software companies, but I worked for HP, I worked like Hewlett Packard, Microsoft, and SAP on some of their financial software. I was writing for them. I ended up getting into real estate investing, both as a real estate investor and then later as an advisor and consultant for some of the big names. Is there anyone here a real estate investor? Put REI in the chat bar if you are. Even if you like just dabble a little bit or you have like one passive income. We got a couple. Okay, all right. So I became an advisor, a consultant, and a marketer for some of the top real estate investors in the world. You would know them if I were to mention them. I'm not going to bore everyone because there's lots in here who aren't real estate investors, but people who like scaled wholesaling companies and big flippers. Kenny wholesaled in college. Multifamily, mobile home parks, and so on. So if you're in the real estate investing world, there's a very good chance I have worked with people that you have heard of or know or have worked with too. So that's my background. In 2014, I was a marketer and a copywriter and a consultant. And one of my real estate investing clients called me up and said, hey, you got to meet this guy named Mike. He's a little bit crazy, but I think you got to meet him. And so that's where I met Mike Agliero. I started out just doing some marketing for him. We ended up working together in a pretty significant way at CEO Warrior. After he exited that, he called me up and he said, Aaron, I'm really excited to do something else. I want to do it with you. And I want to partner with you and Jennifer. Yeah, Mike is a good crazy. That's absolutely right. He said, I want to partner with you and Jennifer and start Food Dog Group. So we started that really the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. And we've been working together in Food Dog ever since. I've been, you can see here, I'm the author of a couple of books, and I work with Mike in this business, the Food Dog Group. We also have a couple of other businesses, we are starting an investment fund. I'm not pitching the investment fund. That's not what this is. I'm just sharing with you where I've gone. I look back at the kid who didn't have milk for breakfast or whose Christmas was modest by comparison. And yet now here I am, I own a number of businesses. I invest in real estate still. I've got an investment fund. And yeah, it has, thank you, Ray. Yes, I am fueled by not money, but by the ability to expand myself and think differently and rewrite the story because I want to make young, scared Aaron inspired. If young, scared Aaron could look at me now, he would be so inspired. And that motivates me like crazy. And I hope for each of you, even if your story is a little bit different, I hope that you are working hard today to motivate and inspire, the young Vicky, the young Becky, the young Amy, the young Dennis, the person that you were, inspire them by the person that you are today. Does that sound good? Does that sound something like you would want to do? I'm getting all fired up and we are tracking in perfect time. Okay. Yes. LFG, thank you. Sounds great to me. I got a thumbs up from Sherry. Okay, then let's keep digging in here. And yeah, I am clearly fired up here. I'm glad I'm teaching this one. I'm going to thank Mike for whatever situation has pulled him away, because this is a gift for me. As I'm talking to you, I'm thinking back, and oh man, that little young Aaron, chubby cheeked and just looking adorable, but so fearful of the world. And yeah, he's going to be pretty proud of where I am today. So, okay, enough of that little wistful moment. Let's get back into the slide deck here. Better open up my chat in case somebody is telling me to speed up or slow down. So here we have, I told my story, and then what Mike and Jennifer and I have all three of us found, there is always another level. And so we each took our backgrounds, as varied as they were, and here we are today with Food Dog Group. This picture was taken at the Change the Channel event in March in New Jersey. And these are 5 of the books that we have written so far. We have a whole bunch more coming. We actually had to tell the team, who, once a book's written, we give it to the team, they publish it. We had to tell the team, stop publishing, because we have these 5 and we haven't been able to keep up with like building them, promoting them, that type of thing. So we've got a whole bunch of books. We got a magazine. We have a kind of the Netflix of personal growth we've got going on. There's always another level. And that's what we have discovered, and we're sharing with you guys. Now, look at all these faces. I see some of these here in the masterclass right now. That's awesome. Okay, let's keep going here. And then also about Food Dog, we have these 2 fine gentlemen who have had great things to say about Food Dog. I mentioned them earlier. They're guest speaking at our upcoming Change the Channel. Kevin Harrington, the original shark, says that we have cracked the code of personal growth. And Jay Abraham, the highest paid consultant in the world, says that we are transforming individual enrichment from the inside out. That is what we do at Food Dog Group. As we dig in here, I hope I'm sharing some value so far. I wanted to share value not just in the strategies that we're sharing, but also in the pieces coming up. So if you've got value so far, or even inspiration by me telling my stories, put value in the chat bar. We're digging into some of the strategies now. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. All right, so our big promise here is that you're going to discover 6 proven strategies. Actually, I think this is wrong. I think there might be 7. So that could be a wrong number there, that you're going to immediately implement. In fact, before we're even done here, you will have shifted some thinking about wealth. You're going to understand how to shift your thinking and let go of what's holding you back. So here is what I've discovered about wealth, actually about a lot of things, but especially about wealth. That it's like a sailboat. When you have wind in the sails, the boat wants to go forward, but it's the anchor that holds you back. And so when a lot of times when we talk about wanting to grow our wealth, we're trying to put more wind in the sails. But what really needs to happen, and what this masterclass is about, it's about cutting that anchor that's holding you back. There's unlimited opportunity out there. That's the wind in your sails. This masterclass is not about giving you another money-making idea. This is about saying, hey, cut that anchor, because you're going to go so much faster when the anchor is gone. You're going to get some remedies that will create more abundance in your life, more than you thought possible. You're going to learn a secret that no one is talking about why people aren't wealthy. And we're going to have some actions for you to take today, because we love action taking. We're all about implementation. It's one of our key drivers here. All right, so let's dig into some strategies. The first strategy here, and this is going to shake up your thinking a little bit. When I say wealth, most people are going to think of what? They're going to think of money. They're going to think of assets, maybe real estate, maybe business, stocks. What else? What other wealth things do you think of when I say wealth? Benjamin, passive income, gold. Yeah, absolutely. Jewelry, right? Your house, maybe some I think I said real estate already. And though that's true, those are wealth. But here's the thing. That's only one of 3 components. So the wealth vehicle are the things that we mentioned. Your house, your cash, your bank account, your credit cards, your credit score. There are 2 other components of wealth that no one ever talks about. There's you and your relationship to the wealth vehicle. It's like a triangle. I'm going to attempt to draw a triangle here, but I'm a terrible drawer, or at least this is a story I tell myself. So here we go. This is, believe it or not, kind of a triangle. Don't use it for a blueprint or anything, but and then on one part of the triangle is you, right here, and one part is the wealth vehicle, like the gold, the house, and then one part is the relationship you have to the wealth vehicle. These three things work together. When everyone talks about growing their wealth, they only ever talking about expanding their cash, expanding their real estate portfolio. What they never talk about is expanding themselves or improving their relationship to their wealth vehicle. And if you want to change your wealth, if you want to remedy your wealth situation, make more money, have a better relationship with money, you need to look at all three. You need to, of course, grow the wealth vehicle. That's the obvious one that we would all automatically think of. You also need to change yourself and how you think about money and how you think about yourself and your ability to make money. And you need to change your relationship to the wealth vehicle. So a great example of this is a few years ago, not more than a few years ago, actually almost 15 or 20 years ago, I started a business and it went pretty well right out of the gate. And so, my relationship to that business was really positive. And it went really well for a year, or for however long I had started it, almost a year, I think. But then the next year, I got a letter from the government. And what do you think that letter was about? Take a guess. Take a guess. A three-letter word. Yes. Tax. I got a tax bill from the government that was more money than I had ever made. Well, it was more money than I had made most of my life. And I had made it in this 1 year. And now I owed so much. And it was shocking to me. I take responsibility that I wasn't aware. I didn't prepare. I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't have the right people in place. I wasn't expecting my business to explode the way it had. And then all of a sudden, here I am later with this big tax bill. And so what happened the following year is that I had to work hard to, make money to pay my bills, plus make money to pay what I knew would be a big tax bill, plus, of course, pay back that big tax bill from the previous year. So it was a great year, and then a year of struggle. That changed for a period of time my relationship with my business and with money. All of a sudden, through that second year, that paying it back year, I was like, why am I working so hard? I really screwed myself over. It would be so much easier just to get a 9-to-5 job and just have the government, have the employer take the taxes at the time. And I struggled through that. I got through the other side, then it was fine after that, and I prepared, and I haven't had a problem since. But I'm using that as a story to share your relationship to your wealth vehicle. In this case, my business was my wealth vehicle. My relationship, I was growing it, and then all of a sudden things change. So your relationship to that wealth vehicle shifts and changes over time. So what I'd like you to do as an action step is to consider, where do you need to expand? Where does your wealth vehicle need to expand? And how do you need to change your relationship? I promise you that if you are thinking about growing your wealth, you're only thinking about 1/3 of the situation, and you're not going to have the success in wealth that you want. If you want to grow your wealth, you need to grow all three of these things. All right. So another action step would be make a plan to grow all three rather than just the wealth vehicle. Okay. Does that make sense? Hit make sense in the chat. I've got one boom from Justin, which I appreciate. Change my relationship. Makes sense. Boom. I'm going to take some water here. I was talking earlier today. I started to lose my voice, and I still have a couple hours of talking after this. I've got a couple other calls. So, okay, good. Makes some sense. I got a rocket ship from Christina. I got boom. Excellent. Yes, change the stories in your head, change your relationship with wealth. Now now that we've talked about that, I've set the stage for the components. Let's dig into some of these pieces a little bit deeper. Our further strategies will take us deeper. So strategy number 2 is understand the magic behind wealth. So you have a relationship to money. In fact, we just talked about that above. In fact, not just money, but all wealth vehicles. What we talked about in the previous strategy, it's one of the 3 components of wealth. Here, you have a relationship to money, but here's the thing. You also have resistance to money. Actually, this shouldn't be money. If you're making notes, cross that out and put in wealth. I put in money there because at the time I was thinking specifically about money, but I'm going to put in wealth because that's really what it should be. You have a relationship to wealth and you have resistance to wealth. And so here, this is how it's pictured below. Here you are with your relationship to money. You've got a certain way that you feel about money. There's a good chance you want to make more money, but here's the thing. You have a resistance to money as well. You have resistance that's holding you back. That resistance could be something like the things we shared earlier. Money is dirty. Only rich people make money and everyone else has to struggle. You have to work long hours in order to make money. All the things that you guys said earlier, you heard or you said or you experienced, that is the resistance. For me, when I was a kid, my resistance was money is scarce and I don't know when the next dollar is coming, so I need to hold on to the few that I have and I can't spend them or invest them or even enjoy my life with them because I don't know when the next one's coming. So I had that resistance to money for a long time. It took me a while to get through it. We have this relationship with money, as we talked about in strategy 1, and we've got this resistance to money as well. You create your wealth. You create your wealth when you do 2 things. Number 1, when you improve your relationship to money, and number 2, when you remove the resistance. And I can say that is absolutely true from my own experience. When I improved my relationship with money or with wealth, when I realized, oh, there's so much abundance out there and there's so much money to be made and I have the ability to make more and I'm not scared of the tax man or whatever. When I improved that relationship and when I removed my resistance to say money isn't dirty, I can work as much as I want and it's okay. Or I can scale my wealth without putting in those grinding hours. When you improve your relationship and remove your resistance, you create more wealth. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm seeing the chat bar slow down. I would love to hear someone, not here, but just put in the chat. What is something in your wealth relationship that you need to improve or your wealth resistance that you need to remove? What is one, for example, share a resistance you need to remove? Throw that in the chat bar. Take some more water here. My mindset. I need to become more resourceful. Oh, great. Scarcity. Yes. Resistance you need to remove. Spending instead of investing. Oh, great insight. Yeah, you have to bust your butt to make lots. I did think that for a long time. And now look, don't get me wrong. Like I love working hard. And you'll find Mike and Jennifer and I sometimes in the evenings or the weekends, we're working. And my mom, she'll be like, Aaron, are you working again? But here's the thing. I love to work hard. And my desire to work hard is actually not tied to my income. So like my income can go up as hard or as little as I want. I just happen to love to work hard. Nobody expects me to be wealthy. Oh, interesting. That's a great one to read. Mindset. Good. Okay. These are great insights. Thank you so much. I love that you guys are chiming in here with these lessons. Keep them coming. I'm going to jump into the next strategy here. So we get on to strategy number 4 now. Oops, I went too fast. Strategy 3. Sorry about that. If you're numbering, I just got too eager. Strategy number 3 shift your thinking, understand your resistance. So we've talked about strategy 1 was the 3 components of wealth. We talked about the relationship. Strategy 2 tied together relationship and resistance, kind of went a layer deeper. Now here we are going even a layer deeper. Strategy 3 says shift your thinking and understand your resistance. And this is key. If anybody typed a minute ago, I need to change my mindset. I need to shift a story. I need to stop thinking money is dirty. I need to stop thinking that, I have to work hard. This is where it happens right here. So you have phrases and thoughts in your mind and your beliefs and values about money, and you might have heard of some of them, and we wrote a few here just to repeat, for example, what we were talking about in a previous slide. Like maybe your parents said, don't pick up money, it's dirty. Or making money is really hard. I heard that a lot as a kid. Or you're not a numbers person. I said that. Okay, young Aaron, if I could go back in time, I'm never saying I'm not a numbers person. I am a numbers person. Money isn't everything. I heard that all the time from so many people. And more money, more problems. I heard that, and I think I've even said it too. So these are some of the many, many stories that we have, and these stories create resistance. So I want one more yes in there. If you have heard or said one or more of those, give me a yes if that is true. Yeah, absolutely. So what can be done? Well, first of all, we need to understand where they came from. These mindsets often come from people with authority in our lives, especially in our formative years, like parents, teachers, friends, grandparents, bosses. They shape how we view money. These people in authority, here's the thing, they meant well. So anything I'm saying here is not critical of them. They all got these stories when they were kids. Like my grandma grew up in like she was like 1,000 years old. She grew up, this is not an exaggeration. Well, the 1,000 years old is an exaggeration. But she grew up in horse and buggy times. Like there was a horse and buggy. That's how she got to school, and that's how she got around town. It boggles my mind. And so of course she grew up through a depression. She grew up through like people having nothing. She grew up through a world war. So of course she had nothing. So what did she do? She gifted her concerns and fears and worries about money to her children, including my mother, who took that and gifted it to me. My grandmother meant well. My mother meant well when they passed them along. But those stories, while they may have been true at a time in horse and buggy days, don't have to be true today. Yes, Morgan wrote it perfectly. Break the cycle. Yes, Ray, it is all they knew, which is why I'm not being critical of them. I'm saying I get it. Grandma, you lived like a crazy difficult life. She probably had to like chop the ice to get water, but we don't have that anymore. So I don't have to carry that same story, that same baggage. So they gave it to me as a gift, and I can say, you know what? The real gift here is that I can rise above it. And the same with you. You got the same things from your parents, from your teachers, from your friends, your grandparents, your boss, whomever. And they gave it to you because they meant well and they loved you, and that's all they knew. But the great thing is, it does not have to define you. It does not have to define you. You can create your own stories, your own thinking, and the resistance that you have, you can wipe it away by choosing to think differently. All right. Is that not exciting? I hope that's exciting. I am so inspired here talking to you guys about this, and because this is a journey for me. Like I feel like I have shifted and broken a bunch of stories, but even while I'm talking to you, I'm thinking back to that young Aaron, or to like my 1,000-year-old grandma, whom I love, and she meant so well, but I don't need to take on her story to me. Michael says, what about greed? Yeah, great question. So actually, I can't remember if we're covering it again anywhere else. So I'm gonna cover it here. Actually, let me just stop sharing because I'm not seeing enough faces, and I want to see some faces. So we had someone here ask, what about greed? Now, great question. Now, greed, that's a big one, and that could probably be its own masterclass. So I'm gonna share an answer, Michael, but I'll tell you right now that what I'm sharing is incomplete because of the time, because I'm not necessarily great at being off the cuff, and also just because I'm thinking about this as I'm talking, and I also need to keep us moving along. I think greed. I think greed is a relative term because, like, what is it that you're measuring as greed? Is it only the desire to get more money? Because there's nothing wrong with getting more money. What really matters is how you are using it. So an example would be when I was young and I knew this wealthy person who was kind of a jerk, and they just did whatever they could to rip people off. Not all of them, not all the wealthy people I knew, but I'm thinking specifically of one person. And that colored kind of my idea of wealth. But growing wealth to then be able to impact more people is powerful and inspiring. So why wouldn't you want to create more wealth to impact more people? I don't know who Mr. Potter is, Brandon, but I'm going to assume that's maybe someone that you know. And now I've just called them out on a masterclass. So, Michael, It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, yeah, I'm not into that movie. Okay. Now I'm thinking about It's a Wonderful Life. What I find distracting is when that girl talks about the angel. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings or something like that. Is that what she says? And that's, yeah, that annoys me. And so it's like, I can't watch that movie. Okay, getting back onto track here. Michael, I think greed is kind of a general term that we like to apply to anyone who is on a journey to make money. But I think it's a challenging term to say because we don't know why they're attempting to make money or how they're going to use it. Now, here's the thing. Actually, I did a video about this on my social media a couple days ago. You may not want to be wealthy, everyone here. You may not want to be wealthy, but we're all on a money journey. We all are here and we want to be here. Now, you have to define what here is. And for some of you, it might just be, I got to pay my bills. And some of you, it might be like, I want $1 billion. Now, people who look at this amount and they can say, oh, well, that is greedy. But why would some people say that that's greedy? It could be because it's more money than they think you should have. But it kind of goes back to their own perspective of what they think they should have. It's like I have a friend who says like that in North America, the one percenters make too much money. And so I try not to have a conversation with this person because they don't like it when I point out that they are the 1% of the rest of the world. That even though they're making less than the 1%ers that they despise, they in fact are the 1% of the rest of the world. So it gets a little bit of a challenging conversation. I'm going to cut off this greed conversation because I could go down a rabbit hole here. But that's a great question, Michael. Thank you for asking about it and thinking about it. I think it is a term we're applying, but it's a little bit of it's a blanket statement that has a lot of pieces to it. All right, let's dig back in. And I'm not going to read the chat anymore because I'm getting pulled into these amazing conversations, but now I am getting pressed for time here. And then Mike will come back and he's like, Aaron, did you do an amazing job? And I'll be like, I did an amazing job, but it took me 4 hours. So then he'll never let me do another one again. Okay, so we need to shift our thinking. We need to understand the resistance. And I would say an action step here for you is to think about the stories that are affecting your wealth, the stories you have about money. Ask yourself, like, what did my grandmother go through in order to gift me the story that she had? What did my mother go through? What did my father go through in order to gift me the stories that they have? What you're doing is empathizing with their situation and at the same time realizing that what they gave you was from their perspective. You don't have to accept it as your story. You can take it as a great lesson. You can take it as Thank you for sharing the challenge that you lived through, but it doesn't have to embed inside your DNA as your own decision-making matrix. All right, I'm going to move on here to strategy number 4. Oh, the comparison effect. The comparison effect. Okay, I especially had this when I was a kid. As I mentioned, like I would have my money and I go to a toy store, but I wouldn't want to part with my money at those toys. But then what would happen? What would happen? I would look around at my friends who had the toys and that I didn't, and I would feel jealousy. I would feel sadness. I would feel scarcity. The comparison effect is often when you look at what someone else has, or it could be actually what you have that they don't, or what you don't have that they do. So like here it is. The comparison effect is when you compare your situation to others, either what you have that they don't. For example, I have clothes with holes in them, right? Or, I have old shoes because I can't afford new ones, or I have soup for breakfast, that type of thing. Or it's what you don't have that they do have. Like they have this toy, they have this car. I remember in high school that I wanted to buy a car, and it wasn't really a friend, but this acquaintance who had this super nice car, and I didn't know how they afforded it, and I got super jealous. I bought myself a car at one point, certainly wasn't the one that they had, and it made me a little bit jealous. But here's the thing about the comparison effect. We often focus on the downside of comparison effects, which creates a sense of not being good enough, or success is always out of reach, right? That's the downside of comparison effect. We think, oh yeah, I don't have the thing that they have and I want it. But there's an upside too. There is an upside to the comparison effect as well. There's a downside and upside to everything. Remember, if you don't take anything else away from this masterclass, write that down. There's a downside and an upside to everything in life. Jennifer, would you say that's true? Put true in the chat bar. I'm saying that because Jennifer knows that is her like magic. That's her magic secret sauce or whatever. She finds the downsides and upsides to everything. Anyway, in the comparison effect, we often think that there's a downside. But if you don't let it eat away at you, if you don't let it become a piece of jealousy or envy for you, there is an upside. The comparison effect can inspire you to greater heights. It is a decision. You can decide whether you are going to be envious and jealous of the person who has a nicer car or a nicer house or that boat or that cottage. You can be envious and jealous of them, and even start to think negatively about them because they have it and you don't. Or you can say, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. I would love to have the same things, and I'm going to work my ass off to get them. And that's the difference between a comparison effect that can drag you down or a comparison effect that can lift you up. So I titled this slide, Overcome the Comparison Effect. And it's not about removing the comparison effect, it's about mastering it in your life. So that instead of getting jealous about something you don't have, it's about getting inspired by what you can attain when you shift your resistance, when you shift your stories, when you think differently. So if you think that that's a great idea, I want you to put inspire in the chat. I want you to put inspire in the chat, because I would love to have you be inspired by what other people have, rather than frustrated, angry, let down, jealous, envious, etc. Okay, inspired. So that's my action step for you for strategy number 4. Next time you're driving down the street in your nice car and you see someone else who has an even nicer car, instead of allowing yourself to be eaten away by jealousy, think, that's amazing. I'm so happy for them. And I want to, get that for myself. I want to work hard to create that for myself. That's actually the key. It's not just wanting it for yourself. It's being happy for them. I think that's a great, you have this level of gratitude when you say, I am so happy for them that they have that thing, and I would love to also have that thing. I think that's really the key. It's not just about desiring something, it's having gratitude that they have something amazing. All right. I usually ask myself, I wonder what they do. Yeah, that's a great way to frame it too. These are great strategies. I hope you guys are writing this down, that instead of being eaten away by jealousy or trying to avoid the comparison effect, say like, I wonder what they do to do that, or to have that, or to get that, or to own that. And I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. All right, strategy number 5. Strategy number 5. Oh, this is a powerful one. I feel like each one we go through this, I'm like, oh, this one is the most important. So good thing there's only like 6 or 7, or we'd be blowing our minds for a while here. All right, strategy number 5, the secret wealth vehicle. Earlier, when I said wealth, of course, people were writing in the chat bar things like cash, checks, bank statements, credit cards, the change, gold, jewelry house. The list goes on and on. Businesses, stocks, your fund portfolio. We could go on and on forever on a list of wealth vehicles. But I love this insight, and this is something that Mike taught me when I first connected with him in 2014. Few people realize that you are your biggest wealth vehicle. You are your biggest wealth vehicle. I would hope that you right now are looking for the mind blown emoji, the brain explosion emoji in the chat to share that with others. You are your biggest wealth vehicle. What that means is that you don't put all of your hope in your cash, in your bank statements, in your gold, in your house. Those things are great, and you can build toward them, but you are the one that creates wealth. It's not your cash, it's not your stocks, it's you. You are creating wealth, and you can go out and get more, because when you have the right identity of wealth, the amount of opportunities are limitless. So yes, thank you for those mind blown explode emojis. So my action step here for you, strategy number 5, is stop looking at your wealth vehicles as like portfolio, cash, and so on, and instead ask, how can I create more wealth? How do I think differently to elevate my wealth? Just like you are not the one assisting your wealth creation. Right, you're not the one assisting it. You are creating wealth. You are creating wealth. You are the wealth vehicle. If all of these things suddenly vanished, you would still have the greatest asset you have available to you to go out and rebuild if you need to. You can also use these to leverage them. You've got creativity, you've got hard work, you've got energy, you've got a network of people. All of these things are things that you have. Your cash doesn't have them, your credit cards don't have them. You can take everything you have about you and create more wealth. All right, I could keep going here on that one, but I'm going to keep pressing on here. Strategy number 6. Ooh, this is another good one. Okay, yeah, I'm really excited. Jennifer, the 3 of us put together a really good masterclass, I have to say. These are great slides and great insights. Let's talk about your wealth blueprint. We're going to talk about your wealth blueprint. So I think we would all agree that it makes sense to have a wealth blueprint. And when you think of your wealth blueprint, when I think of mine, I would think of things like, how much cash do I have in my bank accounts? How much insurance do I have? Insurance is part of your wealth blueprint. How much in my portfolio of like stocks, bonds, funds, and so on? How much real estate do I have? What are my the businesses I own that create cash flow? What are and so on. So you got this wealth blueprint that has all of the pieces in it. And you should talk to a financial advisor who will assist you on that. That's not what we're talking about here. We would all agree you need a wealth blueprint to move forward. This is something we would all agree on. But here's the thing. Your wealth won't change if your identity doesn't change. Your wealth won't change if your identity doesn't change. This is a powerful statement. I hope you write it down in your notes. we've been talking about the stories that we have in life. That gift I got from my grandmother and my mother, my father, or you might have got from your parents, your teachers, and so on. They helped to create and influence your identity. So your identity is made up of your beliefs, your values, the rules you have in life, and about all types of things, health and wealth and relationships and so on. So you have all these influencers from your childhood who have helped create the person you are today. And that's fine because it's got you here. But here's the thing, if you want to go from here and ascend in any area of your life, whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whether it's wealth, any area of your life, this person, the person you are today, isn't going to get you there. It's got you here so far. Your identity needs to shift to get to where you want to go. So your wealth blueprint is important, but it needs to start with an identity shift. So a great example is young Aaron, that chubby kid, a chubby cheeked kid, adorable. I had like really light hair, like really white hair. And I had a Bumblebee shirt, and I was like, I loved life, but I was super scared. That identity, as I grew up, served me for a while. But now if I wanted to become wealthy, I needed to not be that person. I needed to not be scared. I needed to not have a sense of scarcity. I needed to believe that I was my greatest wealth vehicle. I was my greatest wealth vehicle. Once I shifted my identity, it became so much easier to create wealth. And it all started with my identity, and it's the same for you. Your identity is built around the beliefs and stories and values that you've received so far, which were meant well. And now it's time, if you want to create a greater wealth, you need to shift your identity to someone who is a wealth creator. Stop thinking about the person who is like, I don't know if I can make enough wealth. Become a wealth creator. Think abundantly. So build a blueprint for a new identity and you will create more wealth. It's automatic. Instead of starting with your wealth blueprint, start with your identity blueprint. Change who you are and the wealth will follow. That's the true wealth remedy right there. It's not about making more money and finding new wealth, new assets. It's about changing who you are, and wealth will follow. All right. Strategy number 7. Oh, I got to move quick here. I appreciate you guys hanging on through this. Strategy number 7. This is the life wheel that we use at Food Dog Group. You can see here we got the Food Dog Group in the Food Dog mask in the middle. You might have seen some other life wheels from other people in the past. Often they start with 1 in the middle and work out to 10, but we believe it actually is the other way around. That kind of out here in the world, you're only a 1, but as you move closer toward the center, toward yourself, inside of you is where you reach this green, super green 10. And you can look at a tool like this and kind of rank yourself or rate yourself. That you can say, like, my wealth right now, let's say it's a 4, and I want to make it a 7. So how do I do that? And you can ask yourself that, and you can make a plan. But here's the thing. It's not just about saying, I want to grow my wealth. You need to create balance across the whole wheel. This wheel is about finding balance. So you need to look at each of the 10 areas of the life wheel. And there are areas in the life wheel that are familiar and like not a surprise to anyone, like wealth, career, partner in love, health and fitness. So those are a bunch. There are others on here that often get neglected and left behind when you are focused on these 4 things. So things like growth and learning, things like community and contribution, things like place and sacred space, which if you're at Seekers of Power last couple weeks ago, Jennifer and I talked about place and sacred space and the importance of creating a place that you can be like truly yourself and where the energy can flow. So if you want to create wealth, You need to have balance in your whole life. Otherwise, you're going to create wealth in one area and get divorced, right? Or you're going to create wealth and you're going to put on more weight than you want or get out of shape and that type of thing. And I think we've all seen that with people that we know or people we've seen where they became great in one area of the life wheel, but let other areas go. And at Food Dog Group, we're not just about helping you create more wealth. We want you to have a full life. And that includes all areas of the life wheel. So, action steps. All right, before I get to some action steps, how are you guys doing? Are you doing good? You guys doing good? Oh man, my chat's blowing up here. Let me catch up here. Good, good, all good, fantastic. Okay, good. We've got people hanging on and I love it. That's really great. Let's get some action steps here. Evaluate yourself and your relationship to wealth. Action step number 1 is look at yourself and your relationship to wealth and understand how you feel about those wealth vehicles, because chances are you want to think differently about them than you are right now. Here's another good one, another good action step. Align your family with your wealth trajectory. You're going to have people in your family who are like, oh, are you working hard again? Or are you thinking about money? Don't you think about money a little too much? Align them with your wealth trajectory. If they are not aligned, you can say, look, yes, I'm working hard to make money because I want to serve more people. You can help people understand your journey. Rather than judging you, you can ask them to come along with you on that journey. Even if they don't want to create wealth for themselves for whatever reason, help them understand the reason why you are creating wealth for yourself. And then this one's great. It kind of relates to the life wheel we just talked about. Invest in your relationship because alignment is everything. I promise you, you're not going to hear this on other financial or wealth trainings, but at Food Dog Group, we believe like wealth is part of an amazing and balanced life, but you need to invest in your relationship, because if your spouse is not aligned with you, then your journey for wealth is going to just pull the two of you apart. Get aligned. Help them see why you are going on a journey of wealth and how they can participate and benefit from it and enjoy the journey with them as well. And last is change your identity to change everything in your life. I'm so passionate about this. And this is in fact what we're talking about at Change the Channel. It's about looking at yourself and saying, okay, who I've become in my life has gotten me here. The person, or like where I want to go, I need to be a different person and change to become that person to get you where you want to go. We are in the home stretch here. So we did promise, for those of you who stayed on to the very end, that we have this amazing Jay Abraham one-on-one interview that Mike did last week. Jay's the highest paid consultant, marketing consultant on earth. And Mike did a really great interview with him. It was like 45 minutes long. And we promised that we would share it with anybody. And so if you are still on here, you can get it. So Tara, if you can throw that in the chat bar, that would be great. She'll throw it there in a minute. Yeah, it's really great value. In fact, Jay had only allotted, or not Jay, but his team had said to Mike, oh, you get Jay for 20 minutes. And Mike's like, okay, but once they started, and Jay and Mike, they go back a long way, and they make magic when they talk together, and magical things happen on that 45-minute call. So be sure to watch that. And then last, we're not here to pitch anything. We're just here to share what we got going on. We'd love to have you there if you think this resonates with you. Change the Channel is happening in January 2026 to 28. Here's the link, fooddoggroup.com/change the channel. It is all about the things that I was talking about just a minute ago, the action steps that the person that you are now has gotten you where you are today. And if you want to get to a different place, you need to shift your identity. Change the Channel is about changing the channel of your identity to become a new person. To become the person that will get you where you want to go. All right, everyone. I've had an amazing time on this Wealth Remedy Masterclass. And as we wrap up for another minute or two, I would love to see what was your one big takeaway from this. Oh, Tracy, where is that event? It is an online event. It's 3 full days on Zoom. It's virtual. Yeah. So I would love it if you guys would share in the chat bar what's one takeaway. I hope you got more than one, but what is one takeaway that you got from this? Family alignment. That's great. Mindset around wealth. We have a bunch of people on here, so I hope that I am seeing people typing in. Your wealth won't change if your identity doesn't change. Liz, A+ on that. That's great. Change your mindset. Turn jealousy into inspiration. I love that. I am my biggest wealth vehicle. Yes. Oh man, now my chat's going really fast here. I'm missing some, but I'm seeing some wisdom here. Redial in my identity and align with the vibration of my wealth. Remove resistance. Yes. Chop off that anchor and let the sails fill with air. Mastering comparison effect. Love it. Love it. Family alignment. Build a new blueprint for identity. Wealth triangle. All right, you guys, this is absolutely amazing. All right, everyone. I want to thank you very much. I had an amazing time. I got really vulnerable here. I hope that was okay. I really enjoyed sharing with you. I had an amazing time with you guys. So here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to play a song, and you guys are free to leave if you are so inclined. And what's going to happen after the song kind of wraps up, then we have a call with our members. So if you're not a member, you'll see yourself out. And if you are a member of our Legacy, Mastery, or Freedom Tribe, you guys stay on and we'll continue. And then if someone hasn't taken them out, but you aren't a member, we'll put you in the waiting room. Thank you so much, everyone, for an amazing session. Now, in the smoothest but probably clunkiest way possible, I am going to try to share my sound so that I can play a song. Here we go. All right. Everyone, thank you for coming. If you're not a member, you can see your way out now.